Hey, Colab Coach here yet again with the casual conversations with great friends of mine. Today I have my good friend Raheem. Raheem, thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate it.
No problem, no problem.
Yes, and today we're talking about transitioning from old relationships to new relationships. I know that I definitely have gone through that situation as well before I got married. And Raheem is in a great relationship now, but he was in a pretty long term previous relationship. So Raheem, tell me how do you feel with this new relationship? Is it kind of completely different, or is it similar, or do you feel like it's you're still learning as you're going through it?
Um, well, I have to say that the f- the feeling of difference, I guess, comes down to the person,
Hmm.
and she's a completely different person than my ex.
Right.
So, I guess the simple answer is yes, it's a whole different thing with different goals and different expectations and different, moments.
Hmm. And yeah, I completely understand that. And as you said, it's two different people. As you and you know, previous relationship with this relationship, as you have different expectations and different different outlooks. I'll say that different outlooks. So would you say with this new relationship, has it, with especially with what you have experienced from the previous relationship, would you say it's easier, or would you say it does come with its own um, growing pains now that you're with a new person?
Um, well, I guess the best way to, I guess, explain would be to provide just kind of an example, maybe.
Hmm.
So I'll say, for instance, that the one of the big things about this relationship is my last relationship. I was We were both very young when we entered it.
Right.
Um, and in this relationship, we've we're both actually coming out of long-term young relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So we both have certain, I don't want to call them triggers, but certain signs that we both look for and are anticipating and avoiding and just communicating about. It's a very different scenario because I would say we're both much more mature
Mm.
and sure of what we do and do not want.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
it's just, for me, you know, it's just kind of funny to have a conversation about something like, hey, let's put away $500 a month each for our birthdays to spend on each other,
Mm.
or whatever it may be. There's a different level of communication, I would
Mm.
say,
Mm.
because we both are vocal about what we expect.
Mm.
Like, no, you can't give me a box of chocolates on my birthday. I'm not saying that's something she said. I'm not, that's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's not her whatsoever.
Yeah.
But it's just a lot more out there.
Mm. Mm. So I mean, I love it. I love that because, as you said, it's like you were at a certain stage in your life while you were in that previous long-term relationship, and now that you've matured, and now you kind of have different perspectives. I'll say different perspective on what you want in a relationship. Now, in this new relationship, you're now fulfilling those perspectives, and now you're getting to the point where you're like, okay, this feels different, but also it feels good. It feels good, and I like that. I mean, and just for context with me, like I before I got married, yeah, I was in a long term relationship as well. It was long distance as well, actually, and the contrast between the two, it's like night and day. Not to say that it was a completely terrible previous relationship, but it also made me mature in the sense that what I want and what I don't want going forward. So I guess a question for you is that how easy was it for you to go from one long-term relationship to another relationship that you wanted long-term as well? Was there like a in between of like being in the streets, or was it like, you know what, I I ended this long-term relationship, this relationship was over, but I know what I want, so I'm ready for another long-term relationship?
So I guess funny story, there really wasn't a big, streets phase after that that really long relationship. There was a good period of time where, I sat back, I settled into myself and just worked on getting myself solidified
Hmm.
again. After, I mean, when relationships end, you don't know what you're going to be left with.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I just took the time to get myself together. And it's just really funny the way it all worked out because she was also getting out of a long relationship. So
Hmm.
the agreement was
Hmm.
from the jump, it's like, hey, we have similar interests. We communicate well. We laugh at each other's jokes. You're
Hmm.
nerdy. I'm nerdy. Um, but to be frank, I'm not really looking for a husband and I'm not really looking for a wife. Like,
Hmm.
hey, we're
Hmm.
both just out in the world right
Right,
now.
right, right.
And so that's actually how my entire relationship started.
Hmm.
It was like, yes, we're exclusive with each other,
Hmm.
but we're not going to be, I don't know, crazy about, you texting someone or something. Like we're together, but it's not like fully monogamous, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I get it. I get it, especially with the, you being in one certain situation and now you're in a new situation, and now you feel like it should be open. Like, not in the sense that, you know you're going all out and go wild, but
Right, exactly.
yeah, but it's more like you're open to different possibilities and different dynamics.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, I
I, I,
completely, yeah.
I mean, I don't, I don't want to feel the same. Like, hmm, I'd have to say that one of the newest feelings is
Mhm.
being able to talk about someone we're both looking at with my partner.
Mm.
Hey, this person's attractive. Hey, do you like her dress? Hey, would you wear those shoes? Like,
Mhm.
and it's not immediately turned back on me with jealousy or wrath.
Yeah.
It's just an honest question.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I completely get that. So it kind of seems like you're, and of course, I don't want to do like a compare and contrast situation from the previous and the current, but it kind of seems like more you're more free. You're
Right.
more free at this
Mm.
current state. Is that true? Would you say that?
I would definitely agree with that.
Okay. I had a feeling. I had a feeling of that. So, um, so I guess for the people out there that's listening and watching this, how what would you say was the one thing, or maybe a couple things? It doesn't have to be particularly just one thing, but what was the thing that made you realize that, hey, you wanted something different? Because it's easy for us to say, you end a relationship and you get back into the idea of getting into a relationship, but you want it exactly the way it was before. Um, but what was that thing that you saw in that previous relationship that you're like, you know what, I don't want that going forward?
um, I didn't want either myself or my future partner
Hmm.
to feel like they couldn't express their needs,
Mm,
whether that's, for something different in the bedroom or for someone different in the bedroom.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I no longer wanted to have that disconnect with my
Yeah,
partner.
yeah.
So rather than be secretive, be honest, be open, be
Mm-hmm.
communicative.
Yeah.
How can we make this happen? Keep how can we see you to your goal?
Mm, mm, mm. I like that.
I'm
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I know I'm I'm teeter tottering on the edge of polygamy here. But I just want to be clear that it's much more of a ethically non-monogamous relationship
Mm-hmm.
than a polygamist relationship.
Right,
We
right.
aren't necessarily looking for more life partners.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're fully against it or for it, but everything is open for discussion, and I that's important to me.
Yeah, yeah. And hey, this is a judgment-free zone. This is a we free. We're having a conversation. So I'm learning as you're talking. I think that's the biggest thing. Is like I'm learning as you're talking, and I get it. I get it. I've if I can describe it anyway, it seems like you're more into the exploration and the fact of learning. Do I want to engage in other ways of sexuality, or want to engage in other ways of relationships, and if this is for me, this is for me. If it's not for me, it's not for me. And
Right.
I think the biggest thing, as you said, is just you're trying to see what works for you. um
Exactly.
and that's perfectly fine. I mean, hey, we only have one life to live, so might as well explore everything we can. So that's how I see it anyway. And for me, like from my previous relationship to this relationship, my marriage now is like what I didn't want was, as you said, someone not being open and honest and having the constraints of long distance, hindering us from, you know, growing and learning. And that's what was something that I personally was like, I couldn't do another long distance relationship. Yes, I travel a lot. Yes, I do go city to city, but at least I want to have that foundation of where I know that that person is there for me at that moment, instead of wondering if that person is there for me for that moment. So I completely get it. I completely get the aspect of you wanting something. You don't want something from one relationship stepping into the new relationship. um I guess one of my last questions for you is, has it been enjoyable so far, this journey, this exploration? Has it been enjoyable?
Well, I would say yes.
Hmm.
And I say that because for two people who weren't really sure if another serious relationship was in the cards,
Hmm.
we both take a lot of joy in being in each other's presence,
Hmm.
and doing new things with each other. And hell, even doing the same old things like sitting and watching animes together or
Yeah.
reading a book or whatever. So um I would say that in addition to, my comment earlier about what was something important to think of while coming into a new relationship, which
Mhm.
was, being sure of what I wanted.
Mm, mm,
I think the other important thing coming into a new relationship was trying to be aware of when I was reacting out of trauma.
mm,
You
mm.
know, don't let something that happened in a past relationship make you react out of sorts
Yeah.
in my new one. So it's been a learning experience. And I guess that's why there's so many stories about how, it takes a while to get over your old partner and fully let that go. And so the process of talking to each other about these things, and it's something as simple as she said, "Hey, I'm paying for dinner tonight." But because of experiences in my past, I didn't want it to be misconstrued that I am not the provider, or I can't do it, or I'm, unfortunately just not able to.
Right.
And it took a lot of conversations to get to the point where you can discuss like, hey, I'm doing this because I want to do this. And it makes me happy to do that for you. So I need you to let go and let things happen.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep. That's deep. And it takes, as you said, it takes time to get to that point, because especially when you spent so much time, effort, energy with one person, you can't help but to compare that person to the new person. It's just it's just human. It's just human. You try to say, well, this happened before, is this going to happen again, or this situation is just like this. And but as you said, it takes a lot of conversation and a lot of realization that, hey, these are completely two different people. This is two completely different relationships. I can't treat this relationship like the last relationship. I can't think the way that I did in the previous relationship like I'm doing in a new relationship. And as you said, certain things become traumatic, and you don't want to get to the point where, yeah, I was hurt because of things that happened in the past, but I don't want to bring that hurt into something new, and something into something that I want to be a fresh start. So
right.
I love it. I love it. I love the awareness that you have with the relationship as well. And as you said, it didn't happen in one day, but you did take time to actually be open about it. And I'm glad, because a lot of men don't do that. I would say that a lot of men don't do that. And I do commend you for that. I guess my last question for you is, why did you say yes? And when did you know that it was okay to say yes for something new?
So I would have to say it's a weird combination of circumstance and familiarity, maybe. It became so common for her to be in my presence. I mean, she lived 45 minutes away when we first started dating, and 8 months later, she's still, packing bags and spending the night 3 nights a week, and then going back for work or whatever it may be. And so when I guess the moment when I started realizing that, I found myself thinking, I wonder what Tiff is up to, when I was alone, was kind of a turning point to make it say, well, you know what? Why don't you bring your work computer here? Why don't you just set up in the room and let's see how it goes. It was kind of a I wanted your presence, and it just made more sense for you to be here than not. And well, a lot of my friends said that is not a great idea after a long-term relationship. But it's going well so far.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I've been around both you guys. You guys both been every situation that, and shoot, we've been to a whole nother country with you guys, and you guys seem happy, and you guys are, and you in each other's presence. You guys look happy. So, and I think the biggest thing about it is that what I took away from what you said is that you allowed yourself to be happy, because you could have been like, oh man, my previous relationship didn't work. I guess it's something wrong with me. But no, you said, hey, I'm open. I'm ready for something new. I'm ready to be happy. I'm ready to be in somebody else's presence. And I'm ready to explore what's going to happen next, despite what your friend said, despite what it looks like as far as you going into something new right away, or not right away, but over time. And I think that's powerful. So for anybody that's watching, like, you have to allow yourself to be happy. You have to allow yourself to love again, no matter what the situation was in the past and what it is now. I think there's always space for something more. There's always space for you to be happy as the way that you want to be on your rules and your terms. And I think that's the most powerful thing about it. Raheem, you've been amazing. You've been a pleasure. I do appreciate your time and you sharing your experience. And I hope someone, and I know someone will value this, and definitely will have you back for more conversations. We might do an update in the next couple months or next year. We'll see what's going on. But I do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
Yes. And then until next time, we'll talk more. But yeah, have a good one.
You too.